right. Well, good morning, everybody. My name's Eddie Miranda. Um, I'm here to give my testimony today of my life and how I came to the Lord, and how I came to meet this beautiful group of soldiers of the cross. I was been one of those fortunate people where we talk about how God blesses us. Man, it to me, he's been with me throughout my entire life, and I look back now through all my years, and I get see how he was there all the time. Um, as I mentioned, I was very fortunate. Was raised with one brother, four sisters. I have a twin sister, so I am a twin, and I had my mom and dad. Dad was a hardworking man in construction. Um, and he was always there and always there to provide for me and my siblings. My mom as well was a hard worker and a very strict person on us. Making sure we were abiding by doing right and being respectful. They both my parents were there. We seen their struggles as we were growing up, but it never took them apart from the love they had for each other and the love they had for their children. And I was born and raised in San Jose, California, and um, very young age, got parents kept us into sports to keep us out of trouble. We grew up in East Side San Jose, so finding trouble wasn't that hard to do. Um, we really got into our sports. We really got into showing off our trophies and things like that. Um, my brother, baseball, and my sister's playing softball and soccer. And we were just one go happy family. And my dad, he liked to drink. I don't think there was a day that he wouldn't, as he was working really hard in construction. But you know what? He never missed anything. He never missed a baseball game. He never missed an event that either myself or any of my siblings had. He was always there. Mom was always there, even though she was struggling with understanding everything because English was her second language. But she was very strict with us as far as getting involved with drugs and things like that. So it's like a lecture every day right before you left to school. You better not be doing drugs. You better not be doing. If I find out, I will rip your tongue out. It was just one of those strict things. It was like so it got embedded in your head. Like as I'm growing up and I'm getting older, going from junior high, where the trouble starts, right? Then going into high school, I just stayed focused on. Since I was like the youngest, me and my twin sister were the youngest. I needed to make sure that I kept up with my older brother and my older sisters at finishing high school and making sure that I graduate. It was like a big stressful thing for me back then. But life happens, and finished high school and started going to college, and things started happening where I was doing things and hanging around with people that weren't focused on their lives. And as far as my godly life, I was raised Catholic, and we would go to church not every Sunday, but maybe at least one Sunday a month. Um, my dad wouldn't go though. My dad says I already know about the Bible, and he says I don't need to go. I've read it and I know it, and very rare that he would go to church with us. But my mom and my sisters would go, and then it came to a point in time where I would just go with my mom, and that was it. But I've always felt that presence of the Lord with us and with me. And you know, thought as far as Catholic goes, I don't want to put that religion down, but it was pretty boring and pretty, just come to church on Sunday and you be forgiven for everything you did during the week or whatever. And I've always tried to portray that good guy. I've always tried to be respectful to all my friends and their family, their parents, the neighborhood. I always try to be the good person or the good kid of the block. Um, but deep inside, I was being a little bit, I don't know the word that I'm looking for, but just being a little bit not so good. And never had a thing with drinking. So, we got into high school. Some of the kids that I played baseball with, liked to go and drink. Um, I would do it every once in a while, even though we were under the age. But I just kind of just did it because they were doing it, and thought I had life figured out. I had a game plan. I was going to go to college, go get my degree, and then go to work. Um, and so I thought I had everything figured out, um, and um, kind of was prideful about it, really, because a lot of my friends and family members were doing the opposite. They were just living one day at a time and partying and doing things they shouldn't be doing. And I was just like, okay, whatever. But then you get to that time in my I did at least I got to that time in my life where we started dating, started having girlfriends, and doing all that, and you're doing things you're not supposed to be doing. And I got caught up into that and enjoyed it. And I wanted to be out in the club scene and meeting new friends, new girls, and everything else. And all that leads to a bunch of other sinful stuff. And so, um, it happened. Here, I still was thinking I had my life figured out and I was going to do it just the way I planned. And so, yeah. So, I was out doing the club scene, meeting new friends and meeting a lot of girls and hanging around with my best friend. And, um, God kind of just slapped me in the face, says, "Oh, you think you got everything figured out, huh?" And one night, it all came crumbling down. Uh, got into some trouble that I shouldn't have gone into because I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing. And from there, he kind of just changed everything. Everything that I thought I had figured out uh, just went crumbling down. So from that point on, I still thought, I'll figure this out. I'll get out of it. And um, as time went on and things got closer, it started to get worse for me. And it just seemed like it was like you're in quicksand. The harder I was trying to figure how to get out of this trouble I was in, um, I was getting involved in other trouble. And, I finally gave up and I, remembered these guys that went to high school with me. They were always preaching about Jesus. And I remember them belonging to an outreach, and I remembered where it was at. And so I said, I had enough. I need to go and give myself to the Lord. And so I went to one of their meetings, and the pastor up there, and it was a full place, and I was in the far back, trying to hide in the back. And he says, anybody wants to give their life to Jesus today, and let him take control of your life, come on up. And that was the very first time that I actually gave my life up to Jesus. And I went up there and I remember walking away from that place, and it was called Victory Outreach. I remember walking away and just feeling this big burden coming off my back, off my shoulders. And I said, okay, it's going to be different. And as it goes, you still think you got it under control. And I'm not giving my full self to Jesus. And things weren't working out. So I had to go to plan B. Um, and I started figuring out, what do I need to do with my life now? Um, thank God, he was continued to watch over me, and um, he had me deal with the trouble I got into, and I was able to get through that, and then have everything reduced, and um, was able to move forward with plans in my life where I can have a good life. And I did. And but it was all through him. If it wasn't him guiding me, if I told you everything I went to school for, if I explained to you every job I had since I was 13 years old till now, you can see how God was placing the steps in front of me in my life to get me to where he needed me to be at now. And so, some great advice that I give my son is that, I know you're going to school to become an engineer, but focus on what, communicate with the Lord as far as how he wants to use you in your life. And so that was something that I didn't do at my young age, and I didn't do it until later on in life. But I look back now and I see everything that he did for me, and I think of that song, The Goodness of God, and I just, man, that is totally, totally true for me. And he's been so, so good to me my entire life. And I just look at the steps that he did in my life to get me to where I'm at now. And now I'm doing something that's not only a good paying job, but it's how do I say it? It's a job that is looking after the safety of people, so that they can go and do what they need to do in their life and get back home to their families. And I have so much passion for it now that I try to teach everybody else who works below me and others about passion of safety for people. And I totally believe that this is where the Lord put me, and he put it there for a reason. And a lot of people say I carry my heart on my sleeve for the safety and having the passion for people. But if they understood everything I went through to get here, is because God put that passion into me, and I just continue to try to move forward in life using that passion and to do right. Um, and so as years, went on, I was stumbling here and there with not sinning, but it's so hard. We all sin, and I always thought myself, I'm a good father, I'm a great husband. I thought I was doing everything perfect, but I went through a men's course one time at the house here in Modesto, and after reading some books and going through some courses, it opened up my eyes again. It's like, wow, I thought it was up here. I was putting myself way up here. I don't know if you want to call it being prideful or not, but I was putting myself up here, and he made me realize, no, you're still down here. You still got a lot of work to do. So as the years went by, um, Lord, the Lord used my stepson um, to bring me closer to the Lord, and to bring my wife closer, and to start bringing our family closer to Jesus. And he introduced me to Soldiers of the Cross. And I came to some of the Bible studies, started, listening, started reading the Bible more, started focusing on that. And then it came to the point where I told him I need to hang around with people who want to grow with me in faith, and so that I could learn from them. And he says, well, why don't you continue to start going to Soldiers of the Cross and let them, meet with all those men there. That's what you said you want. And I said, so true. So I started coming and meeting and hanging around with a lot of the guys and listening to everything they were doing, all these missionary work that they were doing. And Callie, the one of the members here who I met at the house, uh, asked me, he goes, Eddie, when are you going to become a member? I want to sponsor you. I want you to become a member. And I had been coming for close to a year to the meeting, to the Bible studies on Thursdays. And I told him, I'm not ready to commit 100%, but when I do, I'll let you know. Let me make sure I commit, because once I join, I want to be in it 150%, not just be there part time. And so it's been about 2 years now. I've been a member here. And when I became the member, I told Kelly I was ready. And um, God, what a blessing Soldiers of the Cross is. And they've taught me so much. And every week that we meet, every time that we meet, there's something new that I get out of it just by speaking to one of the members, whether it's somebody who's been here a long time, somebody with a lot of faith, or somebody with minimum faith. And it's just like every single time I go home, I'm just like, wow, I learned something new again. And so now I just want to continue to do that. And I want to continue to show others that once they give it all to the Lord and let Him take control of their heart, let Jesus just have your life 100%. He will guide you and He will show you um, what you need to do in your life, and He will provide for you every which way. People talk about tithing, and a lot of people use excuse, I'm barely making it now. Once I started tithing, it was funny, because I tell my wife, I was like, when we weren't tithing, we're barely making it. Now that we're tithing and we're still making it, it's like, how do we do that? How do I give up all of this and still be able to make it all? And it's all because Jesus does that for you. He finds you ways to, get you away from all your sinning. And all you need to do is trust Him. Don't believe in Him, trust Him. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm going to keep on moving forward with Soldiers of the Cross. And I'm going to try to reach as many lives that I can with my testimony and with my faith. And I just pray that I continue to grow and grow in my faith, so that I can help others, whether it's younger members in SOTC or anybody out in the street, family members, whatever it is. I'm going to give it 150% for the Lord. That's it. Amen. Amen.